Low-fare carriers changed the rules of the game in the airline industry and forever put full-service carriers on notice. But in doing so, the so-called no-frills carriers also got into a price war that has consumed not just their rivals, but also themselves. And it now seems that the low-fare carrier model may be turning viable. Let's go across now to our guest this evening, of course, as we mentioned, Sanjay Aggarwal, the CEO of SpiceJet, is joining us. Sanjay, with the turnaround in your numbers, do you think the worst is over for the sector?
I do feel that the aviation has turned the corner, and I think the worst might be behind us. And our view, or my view, is based on the demand that we have seen over the last 6 to 7 months. It has continued to grow year over year. However, over the last 3 or 4 months, what we have seen is this demand not only exceed 2008 levels, but also exceed 2007 levels. So in a way, from passenger count standpoint, 2009 last quarter, or I should say October through December last year, was the best traffic ever. So this gives us the optimism.
Oh, of course, the optimism for sure. But I want to ask you, is it the turnaround in the economic sentiment, or is it because you've gone heavy on cost cutting?
I think it's a couple of things. One is, I think the consumer sentiment is improving and secondly, I think the fares have been at affordable levels. You know, for example, our average fares are in low to mid 3,000 levels the last quarter, which I believe is a level where customers preference, or they prefer air travel over trains. So I think it's a combination of the economic climate, it's a combination of where the fares are, given the fuel and everything else prices. I think the fares are at a level where the airlines find it sustainable and the customers find it affordable. So I think it's a combination.
Right, but Sanjay, ATF, do you think that still continues to be an area of concern?
Even if fuel goes up by, let's say, 12 to 15%, going from $80 to $90 a barrel, which everyone is predicting is about a 15% increase. A 15% increase in ATF would mean a 6 to 8% increase in the pricing on aviation tickets. So I don't think that's a meaningful increase that will dampen the demand in a significant way. So I don't think ATF should pose a risk to the aviation. However, right. I could be proven wrong very next month.
But right, okay, yes, of course, and that's why I want to ask you that in many ways, if that's going to be a volatile aspect of life in aviation, would you say that you would always want to keep a kitty of money? Is the sector still hungry for funds at a time when there's a chance to raise them?
Okay, there are we don't have a requirement for cash, Shelley. However, we are contemplating raising $75 million or so in future, and that will be primarily to fund any future growth opportunities that may come along.
Overall also, Sanjay, for the sector, what do the recent positive developments tell you about the state of the aviation industry here? Are we finally overcoming the challenging years?
As you've seen, most of the growth in the last 5 years have come from the LCCs, and LCCs that did not even exist 5 years ago are today almost 70% of India's capacity. So clearly, even the full service carriers, what you will notice is, the full service carriers, I will still have to wait to see the results from Jet Airways. I think based on what I'm hearing is their Jet Connect performed much better than the full service. So I think going forward, what we are seeing is the Indian consumer has clearly shown their preference for a no-frills model, and they're saying, when I buy air travel, just provide me the safe and quality and affordable air travel.
But that's one part of the business that you have to keep, some of your infrastructure alive and make sure that you're not sort of getting dated on that front. But tell us, how do you keep the bread and butter going? What sort of trends are you expecting in terms of passenger traffic? And could fares at the start of approach summer start inching upwards?
Yes. The next quarter, the running quarter, we expect the year-over-year demand to be up 15 to 20% versus last year. And we expect the fares to remain fairly stable unless there is a major correction in the fuel pricing.
Bye. Thanks, Sanjay. It's always a pleasure. Thanks very much. And good luck with this turnaround. Hope it stays for a longer time than you expect.
All right, and sticking with aviation, some relief coming in for